I really miss my TF2. I wish I had the guts to even open it again, but I just can't. Not after that. It all started around 3 days ago. I was having fun with the Halloween event when suddenly my real life friend called me on Steam. He's Brazilian as well, so this is just a rough translation of the conversation we shared. Hey Leo, which is my real life nickname. Are you there? Yep, why? I need you to look into something. What exactly? You see, there's something wrong with my TF2. Imboweps. What? Never mind. Anyway, it's all fucked up. Texture glitches. I don't know what to call it anymore. You have to see this for yourself. Screenshots? No. I tried uploading some, it just didn't work. That's weird. Just do it on your PC. Okay, as long as it doesn't require any downloads. No. Just go to your loadout screen, equip the mackerel, then the bat, then the mackerel again, and then the Sandman. Must be some awkward graphical glitch. Wait, I don't have a mackerel. I would give you mine, if I could. I'll see what I can do. Thanks for telling me. Thanks for listening, and sorry for telling you. As I was about to ask what he meant, he disconnected. That was one hell of a weird conversation, though it wouldn't have been had I gone back in time to warn myself. At the end of the conversation, I was thinking my friend was a major noob that found some fancy graphical glitch and wanted to show me. What was, however, bugging me was the entire tone of the conversation. You may read it as your average dialogue, but my friend was the kind that would almost always type in some smileys. This time there were none. Something seemed off. I decided to try it anyway, so I disconnected, crafted a mackerel, and went to try the glitch. I carefully did the steps: mackerel, bat, mackerel, and finally the Sandman. As I equipped the Sandman, my screen suddenly froze. It was rather unusual since I was playing on my brand new high-end PC. But I knew TF2 had the tendency to lag, so I just ignored it. That's when an ear-busting beep came out of my earbuds. It was around 2 AM, and I pretty much flew out of my chair. That's when TF2 returned to normal, or at least I thought so. The first thing I noticed was all the loadout slots were gone. It was just a dark grey background with 2 grey buttons below. Then I noticed the scout was looking at me. His eyes had no pupils, and there was no gun on his hands. I remember having these sorts of glitches when I used DX 8.1, so it wasn't a big surprise. I clicked the button, I guessed that was back. The class loadout screen was glitched, just like the previous screen. All icons below the classes were gone, and all the class icons were upside down. They also wouldn't zoom in as you moused over them as usual. I pressed escape since the close button wasn't there, and what came up was what finally alerted me that this was not another graphical glitch. The title screen was the boldest title screen I've ever seen. It was just a black screen with the words Team Fortress 2 written in white at the top of the screen. It wasn't written in TF2's theme font, but rather Times New Roman, like it was rushed out or something. Below it were 3 options: play, options, and quit. As it was kinda late and I had to sleep, I decided to just jump to play. As the server browser opened, my subconscious was already starting to realise what I was getting into. I suddenly felt a fear I never thought I would ever feel, irrational or not. I was shocked when I could only find one single server. Minutes ago, it found over 2,000 servers, so how could I only find one now? I checked the filters and they were all turned off. Turning any of them on would just make the server disappear from the list. What crept me out most was the details on this single server. The name of the server was just Team Fortress, so I instantly suspected it was a listen server. The game tab was empty, the player count was 1 out of 14, and the map was just Manor. It was written exactly like that, not CP Manor event, just Manor, and the ping was 10. That's what I call a ping, I whispered to myself. I kept staring at the player count for around 30 seconds. I was trying to figure out what was someone doing there, lonely on a remote server, isolated from the player base. I reluctantly entered the server. The loading bar was just a long white stripe with no text. It connected. I wasn't greeted by the usual blackboard welcoming screen. Instead, it just went straight to the class selection screen. I had just crafted the Horseman's Head Taker and I really wanted to try it out, so I instinctively chose Demo. I spawned as a blue Demo man, but in the middle of the map. I also had no weapon. I checked out the score. My name was the only one there. There was no one in red, neither in Spectator. Wasn't there supposed to be someone here? I opened up the server browser again, and now the player count was 2 out of 14. The name of the server suddenly switched to Get Out. I got freaked out by that one, but kept going. Before even moving from the odd place I spawned, I typed, "Who are you?" I got no answer. I just supposed he didn't speak English and casually walked out. That's when my demo suddenly burst into flames. At first, I thought he was just a lone pyro, but that's when, with a scream of agony I'd never heard from any demo man before, he blew up. By this point, I was already scared to death, so I quickly disconnected. The server browser automatically opened a few moments after my scare quit. This time, the name of the server was "Come Back, I Want You." I decided to step up and go in again, now prepared for anything. As I connected for the second time, I just skipped everything, and upon fully connecting, I spawned as a demo with no weapons again. The location, however, was different. I spawned over the gap around the third control point, instantly falling to death. As I waited to respawn, the camera went to a fairly odd looking place I'd never seen before. All I could see was a large white stripe with a red and a blue stripe next to it. The place I respawned was the bottom of the well for me. It was a dark, disturbing room with a single locker on the right of the exit. I had already played quite a few matches on this map, but I don't remember ever seeing such a room. When I walked out, all I could see was a bright light, like what you see when you walk out of bounds on some maps. After roaming around the vast white desert for a while, something appeared on the chat box. "You are good to go." It had no player name behind, but it couldn't be a mod or a plugin. I was already losing my sanity. Nothing of it was all that creepy, but it was just so off that it was creeping the hell out of me. Right after that message came up, I saw a steel gate in the distance. I walked all the way up to it and quickly got in. I didn't even think twice. I just want to get over with this mindfuck. What I saw when I walked in scarred my mind so deeply that it's like I see it every time I dare to think of the words Team Fortress 2. All the classes from both teams hung up, their mangled faces looking at me, and some of their limbs missing. Between the two teams there was a large white stripe with smaller red and blue stripes on the sides matching the respective teams, forming a large hallway. So that's what I saw while respawning. That's where the camera was, still in first person perspective as a demo man. Every time I looked at the hanged demo, the screen would start to get grainy and an image would start slowly fading on my screen until I looked away. It changed every time I looked. But as far as I could tell, they were all mangled bodies. As the image fully formed for the fourth time, it covered up the entire screen and kept staring at me for around 5 seconds. After that, it abruptly disappeared, and when I looked at the hallway again, all the bodies had disappeared. It then froze again, and I could see only one last message on the chat box before I lost connection. Why? After disconnecting, I checked the server browser for one last time. The server had just vanished. TF2, if I can call it that, then closed itself. I opened up Steam and saw there was a new update for Team Fortress 2. It was simply called Fixed. I knew what that meant, but still found it unsettling. I wasn't able to sleep at night, so I just spent the night playing other games, anything but first person shooters. Next morning, I asked my friend what the fuck was that. He said he hadn't logged onto Steam for about a week. Since then, I haven't played TF2. I was unsure about what to do, so I just decided to note this down and post it on TF2 Spuff, just to spread the word. I can't sleep. I'm not eating or drinking well, and I can't step out of my apartment. Whatever that was, it's haunting me. I see it in the corner of my eyes, inside my PC, and the street outside my building. It's there. I'm sure of it.